Good morning. Good morning. Good
Good
morning, and
morning.
welcome to Astro Insights Live. As I adjust a little bit of my volume here. Good morning. My name is Jennifer Rose, and you are watching Rose Trone Astrology Astro Insights Live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. My sweet wife, Mel Rose, is joining me, astrologer, tarot card reader extraordinaire, and massage therapist. So, good morning, my love.
Good morning, my love. How are you today?
I'm all right. But
Good.
despite looking a little bit dark, I've got my back to the brightness, not on
Yes.
purpose, just kind of how I was sitting today. So uh,
The
hi,
lighting is a little different, but
it
we
is
can
a
still
little bit
see
different.
your cheeky
We're just going to
smile.
have to go with it.
Yeah.
I really just don't have what I need here, but that's okay. This is a learning experience. So, thank you so much for joining Astro Insights Live with the Roses. If you've never, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. And this is kind of how our, not kind of, this is how our show works. We're going to start off with my sweet wife, Mel. She's going to talk with you about the astrology for next week in our portion called Astrology Today. And then Mel and I will get back together and we're going to talk about an astrological aspect that grasps our attention or that we want to talk about a little bit further personally. And then we round everything out with a live tarot card reading. So around 30, 45 minutes, depending on how much I blab, will be the tarot card reading if you're here for that. And if you're watching this replay, thank you so much. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. I have a great announcement to make. I have decided that every morning, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, I am going to open up and ground your day with a tarot card reading. And I'm going to do that live, and I'm going to encourage people to chat with me. And I'll be on for about an hour. So starting tomorrow morning, actually, I started off on Friday morning if you want to catch that video. But tomorrow morning, I'll be live at 6 a.m. So if you have a burning question that you'd like to ask Tarot, please join me and put that in the comment section. And I look forward to this new series with you. And I hope that you will give me a little bit of feedback as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Mel for Astrology Today so we can talk about what the heck is going on next week and how we can adjust and move through the energies so we can, just huff through it, right?
Right. Excuse me. Uh, pardon me. Thank you, Jennifer. Good morning, everyone. Yes, what the heck is going on in the skies right now? The sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Sagittarius. This is earth and fire vibes ruling our skies as we enter the new week. Taurus and Sagittarius are ruled by our two benefics, Venus and Jupiter. So for me, there seems to be an energy that feels like release, like we've done the work, taken the practical actions that we need to. And now we can let our hair down a little bit, relax, and enjoy the nice things that we stacked up for ourselves. Thank you so much for being here, friends. Today is Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. I am Mel Rose, here to talk with you about the coming week's astrology and so much more. Greetings to you. And a little forbearance, I have an impatient dog with me. So if you see me looking off screen or getting distracted, it's because I have a dog here trying to boss me around and tell me it's time to go outside, lady. Greetings. So quickly looking back to this Friday, Monday, we had a full flower moon in Scorpio. Not Monday. This quickly looking back to this Friday, which was May Day, we had a full flower moon in Scorpio, coinciding with the solar and lunar celebrations of Beltane, which is just an old-fashioned way of saying the middle of spring. We are now halfway from spring equinox to summer solstice. Yes, friends, it happens that quickly. Just the reason why we take this occasion to give ourselves a moment to appreciate the quality of this time of the season, the bright green of the new growth, seedlings springing up. The weather here isn't too hot yet. It's really been mild and pretty time of year uh, right here in Kansas City, if you don't mind the intermittent thunderstorms and tornadoes. Tomorrow is Monday the 4th, and we are still under that Taurus and Sagittarius sky. Mars in Aries is going to square off with Jupiter in Cancer tomorrow. And that's a caution for us against doing too much. If you're feeling somewhat frantic or at a loss to give enough of yourself this week, don't push harder. All right. Slow down. No one expects you to be superhuman. Just do your best. And if you need help, ask for it. On Tuesday, the moon moves on into Capricorn, and with the sun in Taurus, that gives us a lot of very practical light by which to see what is working and what is worth the effort. Mercury is also now in Taurus, and it's going to meet a challenge with Pluto in Aquarius on Tuesday. So I think that something has been uncovered and is going to be revealed probably on a broader scale to the wider world. Additionally, Mercury's talk with Pluto helps some of us to be persuasive in establishing some much needed changes to our collaborative routines. So the things that we do with other people, or the things that we do, the routines that we go through for self-management. That includes like I'm talking about the errands we run, like every week, about twice a week, we have to go out and fill up our water bottles. That's a Mercury kind of routine that might change up somehow to do it better in the future. On Wednesday, Pluto goes retrograde, and Pluto is our farthest out, slowest moving planet. It's retrograde about 6 months out of the year. So it doesn't pull a lot of focus unless it's stationing, which is what it's doing right now. It's standing still in the sky, preparing to run an illusion on us. So, yes, it may look as though the dead are coming back to life. Don't be deceived. It's just a trick of the light. Carry on, keep moving forward. Friday the 8th, the moon will move on into Aquarius. And this is a social and civic moon that invites us to get out and make connections and support causes that are dear to us. Okay, so socialize with friends, but also, meet up with your civic allies, plan actions for the present and the future. And last but not least, next Sunday, April 10, is Mother's Day here in the States, and a lovely day for it too. The moon will move on into Pisces early that day, providing placid and heartfelt vibes for who or whatever you may choose to celebrate on that day. The sun in Taurus will also sextile Jupiter on Sunday, a beautiful astrological signature that shows us we can make magical, beautiful things happen just by showing up and being ourselves. How lovely. So get out there next Sunday and connect. If like Mother's Day can be complicated for some of us. I have a mother that I celebrate. Not everybody does, okay? But we do have those people in our lives that we celebrate as nurturing and kind, and as being mothers to their own children, or just being nurturing, kind friends to the people around them. And if nothing else, we can get out there on Mother's Day and celebrate the Earth, which is our mother, and how beautifully she's showing up for us at this time of year. That's it, my friends. That's the astrology for this week. Can you believe it? Not quite so action-packed as most of our weeks have been so far this year. So, I really feel like we enter this week on a note of lightness, of letting things go, and we end this week on a note of really being able to celebrate the abundance and the beauty in our lives, and the care that we receive. Join me next week right here at 10 a.m. for another discussion about the coming week's astrology, and we'll discuss the upcoming new moon in Taurus at the end of the month, among other things. And now I'm going to invite Jennifer to come back so that we can discuss the astrology together before we move on into our tarot card reading for the day. Welcome back, my love.
Hello. I
I might have
didn't
warned you
realize
that
that
that was
you're.
gonna be brief. There was really not very much astrology for us to go over this week, but I know that we're gonna give it a good talking about because I have a couple of things on my mind.
Oh, well, I guess you should go first because I wasn't aware that it was quite such a light week, and so
You need a
so maybe
minute.
you should go ahead and talk a little bit.
So, the bulk of you may or may not know that I have a sister. Her name is Danielle, and actually she's a bit of a celebrity. She's got a band called the Danielle Nicole Band. She's been nominated for Grammys. We're all very proud of her, but she's also just a very hardworking and hard loving artist out there in the world. So go check her out. She's on YouTube. And and all those other streaming services as well. And but she reached out to me this week. My sister is one of those people who one of those women who have somehow in her life just managed to be surrounded by men just all the time, men and boys. She's got boy children, and she's got a husband who she loves very much, and we've got brothers, and in her industry, in her job, she deals with a lot of men who have power to say yes or no to her. And she's been really frustrated lately. She reached out to me. She was just like, there's a lot of this energy coming from the male end of the spectrum that's really frustrating me right now. And I was like, yeah, my patience is pretty thin right now too. And definitely we're seeing some interesting things coming out in the news that's making uh, making the women I know feel very frustrated and angry, making a lot of the men I know feel very frustrated and angry as well. Um, and just this energy that's happening in Aries is bound to have some masculine energy being thrown about in a way that is sometimes good for us, sometimes not so good for us, sometimes enough, sometimes a little too much, right? Uh, and I'm trying to speak very carefully because I don't want to diminish anybody's experience, but the truth of the matter is that with the things that have been in the news lately, and then the sort of energy, this very Aries heavy masculine energy that we're all feeling, that's about driving ahead. It's about sort of like reaching our goals at whatever cost. It's really about acting first and asking questions later, acting on instinct and not really asking for permission for things. So, there's a lot of that energy that's just really heavy in our lives right now. And I really invite you to take a look at your own personal chart, especially if you know your rising sign, and find out where in your life that is happening. Because spoiler alert for my sister, it's happening in a part of her life that governs things she really can't control. And for me, that's all happening in a part of my life that governs, like my social interactions, my public roles, like who I am out in the world, and how I act with other people, and how that builds or destroys my reputation. And for other people, it's going to be happening in that first house. If you've got Aries rising, it's going to be happening in yourself. You're going to be struggling with your own impulses. But if it's happening in your seventh house, then it's going to be happening having to do with your partnerships and the impulsiveness of the people that you partner with. Or if it's in your fourth house, it's going to be about what's at home. So 12 houses, friends, please go check out where all this Aries action is happening, because we've been through like the big moment of everything Aries. We've been through that big moment, but we're still going to be dealing with these Aries impulsiveness problems, not problems, problems one way or the other, good problems or bad problems. uh, we're still going to be dealing with this Aries fire in our lives, each and every one of us. We all have it and we all deal with it, but for the next few years, it's gonna have an emphasis. So we really want to look at how we check our own impulsiveness, and how we also deal with the impulsiveness and the straightforward actions of others.
Oh, absolutely. As a air sign living with fire signs, it's really important that I kind of I have to really I just kind of stay to myself a little bit. I'm just kind of doing my things and doing my Capricorn things. I'm a Capricorn rising, and um
Jennifer really likes to make a plan and let everybody know what the plan is. And living with fire signs, we've really had to learn not to broadcast our moves, because sometimes Sometimes an impulsive person they'll see that you're broadcasting your move. Oh, I'm going to do this thing tomorrow, and they'll do something to gum up the works, or just like, even without even thinking about it, they'll show up in the place that you meant to be using, or they'll just find a way to sabotage it, and
Mhm.
not necessarily consciously, not necessarily on purpose. And that's the thing we
Mhm.
have to understand about people when they're being impulsive, when they're being really direct, even when they do things that sabotage us. It's not that we shouldn't confront them about it. Definitely, if you sabotage me, I should say something to you about it, but it's that they might not be really conscious of what they're doing. It might be just an impulsive thing, a thoughtless thing. And it's not necessarily to be careless. It's not necessarily okay to be careless, to be thoughtless, to be unintentional about things. But that is when we
Mhm.
make our mistakes, is when we're not intending something, or when we're not being cautious about something.
Yes. And to add to, like that quote unquote masculine kind of energy, I wanted to say I read that I don't know if it was a Supreme Court, I don't know, a federal court or something, um, has halted the mailing of mifepristone. The
Yes.
Yeah,
You can't order it online or mail it now.
yeah, can't have it mailed to you now. You know, in the grand scheme of things, unfortunately, it's not legal in a lot of the states. So, I'm surprised they haven't shut that avenue down already. But I don't know if a lot of people already know about this, and I feel like people are going to be kind of waking up to that this week, and we might also find out where that came from.
Hmm.
Like where, I mean, like who, like where this is really coming from might really bother us in some different ways, because we have all these ideas of who the powers that be are. We have all these ideas of we can put these faces. We can put this face, like we can say, oh, Trump is like doing this with the mifepristone, but
Hmm.
you will be surprised. I think when you find out
People will
who's kind of
surprise you.
behind all the meat of that. And I think that they're going to show themselves. I think that they're not going to be able to hide themselves, but I think it's going to be really interesting. And it might even be a female, you know.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what I think about the energy of this week.
Oh, yes. And, having that pulled out, I, I mean, they tell us that we're being paranoid that our rights are being taken away, but our rights have literally been taken away from us.
Mhm,
And then they're just being chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And
mhm.
at the same time, news came out in the past week that 62 million men logged into a website that gives guidance on how to coerce sex out of women. 62 million men. So at the same time that we are, not doing anything about the crimes that we know have been committed by people in high public ranking offices, and at the same time that we're not going to probably be able to do anything about the fact that 62 million men have already signed up for, hey, show me how to rape somebody. We're also denying women the right to health care. We're also denying women the right to abortion access, and even like a pill, even just like a simple pill to help when you're having a miscarriage or when you need an abortion. So this is like, I feel like the dark ages that we're living in right now, or some terrible reflection of the dark ages. And I know that part of this is just what we're going through, what we're seeing, what we're being shown, so that we can undergo this transformation in how we look at ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we treat one another, how we do things in the world. We're looking for a huge monumental cultural shift. And a lot of us are feeling very angry. I gotta say, I'm an Aries. I'm ready to set some shit on fire. I'm not gonna suggest what. But, like, I'm really feeling very angry, and I'm really feeling those Aries vibrations that say, "Okay, well, let's do something about this." Oh my goodness, my hair is terrible today. Um, But I'm really feeling that urge to take care of business and do something about it. And I know that I am not the only person. And I'm not saying that it's even just women. And I fully include trans women as women, but I also include queer people in my cause, and I also include men in my cause who have been sexually abused, who have been, forced into situations that were beyond their control. I'm also including everybody because patriarchy, this rape culture, it fucks us all up. It fucks up the men, the women, and everybody else in between as well.
Okay. I I guess if we were going to talk about these things, we should have given a trigger warning.
I'm so
If
sorry.
I'm honest.
I didn't realize
Uh,
I was going to
yeah.
talk about these things until I got on here. So
That's the thing about a live show. We just, we're just following our energy, but hey, we're talking about some pretty serious stuff obviously. We're talking about some things that might not feel good to everyone out there. So please, um, you know,
do what you have to do to take care of yourself, and I'm sorry that I
yes,
didn't give a trigger warning for that. It's
there's no need to be sorry.
just
Just
that it's in the public um, conversation right now, and it's
Mhm.
it's so much more important than almost anything else we're talking about, and considering everything that's going on in the world, that's saying something, I think.
Right, I agree. I mean, I've been fighting this for my whole entire life and have been named the angry dyke lesbian who hates men,
Mhm,
which I don't. And sometimes I am angry, but that's usually, as a result of something. And it honestly takes me a lot to get angry sometimes, unless it's just a blatant, you
mhm.
know, violation of someone's anything, I guess. I don't know. But
I I have
uh
been accused on occasion of being a man hater, and I have 5 brothers. I love my brothers. I love the men
mhm,
in my life. I
mhm,
have plenty of friends who I care about who are men, but that
mhm.
doesn't change the fact that there is this thing happening in our culture that is a real phenomenon. It's, like, you can't gaslight us and say it's not real. It's fucking real.
Right.
Pardon my language. And like we have to face that with as much like authenticity and sincerity as possible right now.
I agree. I'm still waiting on that spark. We've got some airlines that shut down, and
Hmm.
there's just the more random that happens. I don't know. Maybe we can get together on one of these items, but if there are a lot of these items that all of us can get together on,
Hmm.
I don't know. I saw somebody on Facebook and they were commenting on a picture of some people down in a smaller city that were um, protesting on May Day. And this guy said, "Oh, what? There were only 35 liberals there." And I was like, "No, there were 35 Americans there."
Hmm.
Like workers' rights, the whole deal. That's all of us, buddy. It's not just left, right, red, blue. I don't understand how it became directions and colors and all this kind of shit. But we are Americans and we need to start acting accordingly or actually figuring out how to act a little bit differently,
We're human
less
beings.
colonially.
The thing that has always the thing that has always shocked and dismayed me about the way things operate in the United States is that we have this written down set of values that people our age were taught in school. We stood up and well, I stood up and did the Pledge of Allegiance every day. Jennifer was known not to participate, but we were really taught that we have these core principles as United States Americans, that like everybody is equal under the law and under the eyes of the Almighty, however you want to see that. And we don't act that way in the United States at all. Like our values are really not on display. Um, about half the time, and 50% where I'm coming from is an F, so a failing grade.
Yeah. So we've got to pivot and, Mars Aries is the I am, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so
That's
it's
the,
who am I being right now? Like, who am I right now? I am being this.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we're trying to figure out, aren't we? So all you out there, I feel that I'm figuring that out as well. And if you normally watch, you know that I'm just kind of figuring out who I am as opposed to what everyone else wanted me to be. And if you're out there doing that, woohoo! I think this is a good timing. We might actually see it through this time and actually think about
I
who we
saw
are and start acting like ourselves.
I saw something recently. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was like failing spectacularly at being everything they thought they wanted me to be.
Right? I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
You've got to try is the thing. Like you've got to
Mhm.
put your foot forward and you know I'm horrible about that doing that, but I'm getting a little bit more brave and I'm putting myself forward in ways that I don't feel comfortable about, but that's how I know that I'm doing something moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Progress is
Okay.
outside the comfort zone.
Are we ready to go on to the tarot card reading?
Yeah, we can do that.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I just
Thank you
wanted to
for having
pause. We're going to turn over to the tarot card reading right now, but if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so you can catch us every Sunday at 10 a.m. And I will be live every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time to do some morning guidance for everyone, some grounded morning guidance for you. So, do you have any idea of what we would like to ask the tarot cards, my love?
Oh, let's see. As we're going through the diminishing moon this week, we are letting things go.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, thoughts, habits, ideas, and then also physical stuff. So maybe like what are we letting go of on the mental, emotional, spiritual level, and then what are we letting go of on the physical level?
Okay. So, what are we letting go of on the spiritual level?
Yeah.
Is the first.
Hmm.
Yeah. We got the Three of Pentacles. So, what are we letting go of? Um, I think what we're letting go of is making the perfect plan. Like letting go of the perfection of the plan. Like you got a good plan, everything doesn't have to be completely in place. And we'll find that if we just push our plans through the meat of the plans, like those plans are probably even going to change and morph a million other times.
Hmm.
So figure out what the facts are about your plans and get rid of the rest. And we don't have to do like we always have done. For me, it's about not the same contracts, not the same. I don't know. It's time to get a new routine, I think, and get rid of that perfectionism. It really is about the perfectionism and the comparisonism.
Hmm. I'm going to
This
say, I
always
think
looks
that
like
we,
somebody going to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I didn't want to interrupt you. I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
Um, I want to say that, I think that we all like have our people around us that we rely on as collaborators. And sometimes like there's somebody in the mix that, they bring something good to the mix, but they also bring a kind of a pain in the ass to the mix. Usually people are a both and, like
Right.
you have to take the good with the bad. So what I'm letting go of when I look at this card is like either letting go of dealing with somebody that makes things too big a pain in the ass, or just letting go of the part of them that is a pain in the ass, just letting that be what it is, and still allowing them to contribute, because we all have our part to play in the collaborations that we're making.
Right. The definition of pain in the ass is kind of subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
um,
Well,
yeah, I
just
agree
because
with
something
that.
frustrates me doesn't mean it isn't helpful. Just because I don't really like the way somebody deals with something doesn't mean that they're not doing it right. There's no one right way to do things, and so
Right.
we kind of have to let go of our expectations of how people are going to do things when we're collaborating with other people too. Like we
Mhm.
can't have a perfect plan that dictates exactly how that
Right.
stonemason is going to do that stonemasonry. The stonemason does the stonemasonry, you know. And if I'm
Mhm.
the person with the blueprint, just going to say, "Good work, thank you very much."
Right. Right.
Even if I found him disagreeable or I didn't like his timing or something like that.
Right. Right. Um, yeah, just not having to pay so much detail to the or pay so much of your time to the details. Like I'm telling you, I did this the other day. I am practicing making thumbnails. Like I get dinged on my thumbnails all the time, and I'm not very good at using any of these graphics things. And like I don't pay for any of those things like most people. And so it's kind of like you get in there and you want this symbol, but that's the one that's locked, but
Mhm.
you got all the other symbols, or you need this, and it just kind of it switches around in an algorithm, like they can tell what you're doing, and then they kind of block something or whatever. That's what it feels like to me. And like I don't have to create a perfect thumbnail, and it doesn't have to be exactly like I'm envisioning it in my mind. Like sometimes a mistake can actually end up being, like a really, really good thing. So that's what happened to me the other day. I was making a thumbnail and I accidentally clicked on something that landed on my picture. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to go with that. And it wasn't perfect. The thumbnail is not, it is not balanced in a way that I like it, but I had spent so much of my time on it, toiling away at trying to get this moved in this color and this, that, and the other thing, and
Mhm.
trying to do what the algorithm wants me to, and not using AI as much as I possibly can. I'm just not that creative in that way. I haven't been using those, like that Canva stuff very often. But I just allowed myself to. I looked and I was like, it's been an hour and a half that you've worked on this. It's
Right.
time to set it aside, and it's time. I've got other things to do with my time,
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, so
yes,
I think overall what we're letting go spiritually here is letting perfection be the enemy of good.
right.
You can get it right without making it perfect, and really perfection is an ideal, it's not something that's here.
Right. And you know what? It doesn't matter what those two people think about your plan. It's still about team. Just look, we do not want to. I'm not talking about changing the title now.
Right.
What I
That's
need
not up for
is
debate.
I'm addicted to the righteous gemstones, and I will probably quote them 1,000,001 times. I'm quoting Uncle Baby Billy there, but anyhow, so spiritually, that's what we're getting rid of, perfectionism. And for me, it's also about you know getting rid of the expectation that someone else is going to be doing things the way that I do them. I know that Mel touched on that, and then like telling them to do the way you do it.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of that can happen, right? But then you've got to allow someone to just be themselves and do what they see is the next step, and not what you see as the next step. And sometimes it may not always be the best choice, just like me, just like my choices aren't always the best choice, but you don't get a say in it. And that's something I'm learning about right now. And that's from being overparented.
Right.
We've been overparented. Like everybody freaking thinks they're our parents. And anybody who's over 70 years old right now thinks that they're our parents, and that people will literally like beeline to us to tell us something like, oh, hey, I see you. You're my kid's age. Like, don't you know that? Do you like those shoes? Or, like something effing
Oh my
stupid. I'm like,
goodness.
no.
God bless
No.
these over 70-year-old men who keep walking up to me
Mel
to
is
try to tell
really
me.
immune to it. She is just like, her face is
Oh
like some kind of a
god.
meme when they come
Sorry,
at her. And
buddy.
I'm telling you, it's the spirit of her dad sending these guys that really kind of creep her out. But then when you talk to them, she has a nice, lovely conversation, and she can actually go back and forth. Like Mel is not like a big conversationalist unless you have a topic that she's really interested in, or then she'll geek out and she probably won't let you talk. And so I think that sometimes her dad sends those people there, like just kind of like, and then it's like, oh. All right. So now, what was the next card?
So this is what we're letting go of physically this week.
Oh,
What we're going to jettison.
I wish everyone a happy letting go every day.
For real. Letting go. Free yourself up. Lighten up, friends, because you can't take it with you.
I'm meaning in a more literal way too, unless you're talking about like, you know, if you can't get it out, hopefully it starts moving now.
Oh,
What'd your
you've
dad
gone
say?
the
You know,
over
like
50
after,
route with that
well, I
one.
guess it's like people say after 50 or after 40, it's about how everything comes out.
Yes, it's less about what goes in and more about how it comes out.
Right.
And
Ooh, I've,
that's more dad energy right there.
yes, dad
Strength.
energy. Dad or brother, honestly.
Yeah, yesterday
Hard to
was
tell.
my brother Chris's birthday.
Yesterday, yeah. So here's the next card, the strength card. What are we getting rid of physically? And I drew this card in my live morning show on Friday. And I said that it's definitely a Leo card. And I did have a Leo watching. And every time I see the strength card, not just because that there's a lion there, but this is to me a Leo strength card here. So if you know a Leo, think about how you admire them for their strength in all the different ways. You know, like they're brave and um, I don't know, you know,
Sovereign.
like especially for these air signs or my mutable moon sign. Like I really love a Leo. You know, like I just sometimes don't want to bullshit. I just want an answer. I just want to. I don't have to think about that kind of thing. And a Leo, I kind of find even if they're wrong, which Leo is also another to me. I am kind of thing, even if they're wrong. But so, you know, pushing through pain, we don't need to do this, babies. We don't need to push through pain. Like, why are we taking ibuprofen after, you know, like we can take medicine before and after exercising something if it hurts. You know, like we do not have to withstand pain in order to know that we're alive. We do not deserve to withstand pain. So, you know, working long hours until your body hurts, doing that whole bunch of stuff. Like Mel has
Pushing
been spending a lot
through.
of time in the yard, and I'm telling you, I had to put a timer on it where I go out and tell her to stop, you know, because it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm a big, strong person and there's all this stuff to do and I'm just going to go get it done. You know, it's literally like her wrangling this in hand, just like this card is, you know, just taking things in hand. Um, and it's not, some things aren't yours to take in hand either, just by the way. It's not always your responsibility to take care of other people's things or things that aren't yours, period.
Mhm.
I think it's great that we can worry and love and think about what other people are doing. But the bottom line is the only control that we have over is ourselves. And so we can't strong arm somebody into doing what it is that we want them to do. We can't strong arm them into listening to us and doing what we do. We can't even strong arm them into following our example. But what we can have strength in doing is just being ourselves and continuing to do what we need to do, regardless of what other people's choices are.
Yes. Leo is sovereign unto themselves. So, you know, they
Yes.
used to say every man's
Leo.
home is his castle.
Ooh.
But now, you know, I think the more modern translation is like your body is your temple, your home is your castle,
Mm.
whoever you are. And so, you know, you get to kind of say how things are going to go directly around you or having to do with you, but having control over how what other people do, or you know, actually like we're talking about physical stuff, so I'm talking about like letting go of your desire to physically control what happens, letting go of your you know, like there's a little bit of Jesus take the wheel in this. Just like again, you know, uh sometimes you feel like if you want something done right, gosh darn it, you got to do it yourself. And so we'll kind of take things over. Fire signs are famous for this. We'll kind of take things over. We'll walk in and we'll go, oh, I see that you are making this, preparing this meal, but I know exactly what to do, and I'm just going to take care of it for you. You know, like
Yeah, and
it'll
it's
just
just like fire
like,
signs leave shit alone sometimes, just
yeah,
like leave shit alone. And if
yes,
you
yes.
tell a fire sign to leave something alone, they're more than likely ready to go get it.
If you have a if you have an interest this week to meddle in something that somebody else is materially taking care of, chopping vegetables, washing dishes, digging holes, whatever it is, just don't. Just sit back and let them take care of their physical stuff, and don't help unless you're asked, because sometimes that helpfulness is Some
I
kind
have
of
this on video, my love.
help. The helping's all about. And some kind of help is the kind of help we all can do without.
What are you singing? What is that?
Oh, that's from Marlo Thomas and Friends.
That's what I thought.
Free to be you
Yeah.
and me.
Okay. Okay.
Let go of being too helpful, friends.
Okay, Gen Xer. You know what? I also want to say when I'm looking at the cardigan from Cardi B, the strength card. Also, if you're a victim of someone thinking that they have control over you,
Yes.
it's time to step the fuck away from that. It's really
Physical.
time to make a move out of that. It's time to move your body out of that situation. The truth's coming out because the Scorpio moon, it's still happening right now. Like next week is going to be lit in the news, I promise. And I've been avoiding news on purpose this weekend, and I'm just going to see what happens next week. But prepare yourselves to get to the bottom of the truth. We're going to find out some information.
Definitely.
And I think that we're finding out our truth too about people that we like, love, and maybe even can't get enough of. And maybe we want to get enough of
Good
them now.
enough. Yeah.
You know, like once we see the manipulation, once we see what's happening, we have to act on it. We have no choice but to act on it right now. You know,
Remember.
and we're leaning toward the practicality. Like if it's keeping us from the practicalities in our lives, then we have to absolutely get rid of it, because this is time to ground ourselves. This is really time to ground ourselves in all of the ways. Taurus season is asking us to do that and plant the seeds.
Yes. So remember your sovereignty. Don't let other people have control of you either. It's time to step away from any kind of high control situation that you're in, or at least, claim your sovereignty within that situation and see where it goes.
Silence is violence.
The silence is
We got to
violence.
open our mouths. We got
Withstand
to
that.
say the thing.
All right. That seems
I
to
know
be
you
the
can do
reading.
it. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, Mel and I, here on our YouTube channel. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We so appreciate you deciding to spend your time here when you could be anywhere else, but you spend your time here watching us, listening to us. And we hope that you do interact with us. Reminder, Astro Insights Live is live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I will be live tomorrow morning starting at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time to do tarot card readings. And if you have a question that you would like to ask me in the chat, please show up this week for me from 6 to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time live. And I will give you some ideas about what to expect for the day. And I'm going to be looking into the astrology as well. And I might get the astrology wrong, but I still have to put myself out there to do it. So thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your love and patience. And we will see you again next Sunday. And I will see you again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Much love, friends. Catch you in the next video.